everybody, but he cannot use everybody. There is a kind of man God is looking for. There is a kind of vessel God is looking for. There is a kind of believer God is looking for. There is a kind of witness God is looking for. And so in as much as we have several Christians, genuine Christians across Kano, across the north, you may find out that not many may be at the cutting edge of God's prophetic program. And others have gone so far to know what God wants to do, but there is a demand. So that's the second body of knowledge you must know. Number 3, you must understand God's strategy for executing his program. So I'm listing for you the bodies of knowledge that helps a man to be relevant in God's program. And I listed for you, number 1, that you must understand God's prophetic program. What exactly is it? You talk about kingdom come. What exactly is it? The average believer just knows that, okay, we are talking about God, but they cannot articulate with intelligence what God's prophetic program is. And unfortunately, sometimes that includes preachers. They cannot give you a concise definition as to what God's program is. And if you do not know what God's program is, then functioning in his vineyard becomes a risk, because it means you will mislead a lot of people, not because you are false, but because you are ignorant. Number 2, the vessels. You cannot prepare a people and mature them to be of stature and to be usable until you understand the portrait of the kind of vessel God is looking for. When you want to apply for a job, for those of you who are working or seek to work, when the application comes out, they detail for you very clearly the demands. Am I right on that? So they say, for instance, we are looking for a driver, and then they list it very clearly. That driver should have maybe 5 years experience. He should have been able to drive across this and that. If you think you are qualified, then apply. And sometimes others can take the risk to apply, and the company says, well, because you took the risk, we will train you to match that demand, but that demand will not be compromised. Are we together? And then number 3, the execution strategy. I think this is where most believers have failed, and it is why many territories do not produce true witnesses, because we understand God's program, and sometimes we even pay the price to become the kinds of vessels that God can use. But we now begin to use our strategies to execute divine programs, and you find out that it becomes burdensome and it does not work